Hello, in this video we'll be discussing subset sum problem today. What is subset sum problem? Subset sum problem is that in the question we have to find if there is a possible subset of this array whose sum could be the given sum. For example, in this problem, we are given an array of 2, 2, 3, and the sum given to us is 5. So we have to find if there exists a subarray or subset of this array with sum 5. So as you can see, we can take 2, 3 as a subset of this array whose sum would be 5, and also 2, 3 here also uh, a subset whose sum would be 5. So we'll be discussing the dynamic programming approach, or you can say the most efficient approach of this question today. So so you can pause this video and try to solve it yourself first. Okay, so let's start discussing the solution of dynamic programming. Okay, so I have made a table. It's not properly filled. We'll gradually fill it in this video only, while we will discuss this question further. So I have made a 2D array or a matrix in which the row represent the indexes uh, in a one representation way, right? The indexes are starting from 1 2 3, right? And the column represents the possible sum which we have to check, right? So possible sum we have to check for our 0 1 2 3 4 5, because we do not want to go beyond the sum 5. Okay, right. So the table goes like this. I'll be putting the values. It's a boolean 2D array. I'll be putting true or false. If I take zeroth index element, that is null basically, and it gives me, and if it gives me zero sum, right? So for example, in this and in this, if I take a zeroth element or null, you can say, or empty subset phi, you can say like this, or you can say like this, null set, then its sum would be 0, so it's true. So I'll put true in this block. So let me first erase all these, because we'll be gradually doing this to understand it better. Okay, now we are ready to go. So uh, and you already know that a null set containing zero elements will not be having a sum greater than 1, greater than equals to 1, right? It cannot, a null set cannot obviously have a sum, positive sum or or negative sum. So I'll put false in all these blocks. It's I'm doing it uh, prior to making this array, right? I'll run a loop of where I equals to I will be 0 only, and j will be from 1 to the required sum, and I'll be putting assigning the values to as follows in this array. Okay, so let's discuss one more thing which I'll be doing prerequisitively. That is, uh, for if I take the element, first element or 2, or second element 2, or third element 3, then all these uh, 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 combination will be giving me a subset of zero sum. Why? Because if I takes a subset of element 2 then I can have it sum as 0 when I'll be not choosing it, right? In case of null sets. Okay, so I'll be having 0 sum in all the subsets, all possible subsets. So I'll write true in all the zeroth column everywhere. Okay, so let's erase these, and now the real problem arises. Okay, so what I do now to solve this problem is, if I choose for this element, I have two options, either to choose it or not, right? For first element I can choose it or not, for second element also I can choose it or not, for third element also I can choose it or not. Okay, so I have to make a sum 1 by choosing this element or not choosing it. So uh, when I am not choosing it, I'm obviously going, when I'm not choosing any this element 2, obviously going for a null set, because I'm not even choosing the first element, then my subarray would be of size 0. So I'll check that if I doesn't choose this element 2, then would my uh, would the remaining elements, that is null, right? Because I do not choose two first element, then the remaining subarray would be null. Then whether this subarray, if I not choose this element, then whether this subarray would be able to give me the sum 1 or not. So how I can find it? So you can think it's very easy. I can The answer is pre-stored already, because if the array is empty, so the size is 0, means I have a null element, then I cannot have a size 1, right? It's already stored on the the upmost cell of the query cell, right? So I'll take this as a false here, because if I do not choose 2, I cannot have a sum 1, because if I do not choose 2, the null element also is not providing me a sum 1. So I'll write false here. And also I have to check, if I include 2 in my subarray, then whether it can give me sum 1. How could I check that? By subtracting 2 from it, right? No, sorry. By checking if the number is less than the number I'm trading for. If the required sum is less than uh, the element which I am doing the calculation for, then obviously the element, if I take that element, and if it's greater than the sum, then if I take that element, then sum will exceed, obviously. So here also I get false. So I'll take OR of it, logical OR, and give answer false. So next, here I for every element I'll be having two options, either to include it or not include it for the required sum correspondingly. Okay, so if I do not include 2, whether, like, if I do not include 2, what I get is null set, and whether the null set would be able to handle or maintain a sum 2, I can check from the upper cell, it's saying false. So first option is neglected, rejected, it's false.